Master?
I didn't expect to see you so soon.
Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Hey there guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and welcome to my Ahsoka Episode 4 Ending Explained video. I normally don't do these for all Ahsoka episodes, but as we all probably know, Ahsoka Episode 4 has some explaining to do. That was a beyond amazing and an incredibly perfect episode of Star Wars. Of course, here on the channel, we already have our full breakdown video for Ahsoka into the regards of references, things that you might have missed throughout Episode 4 of Ahsoka, as well as just an overall explanation of the overall episode as well as Easter eggs. So yeah, I already have my full spiel on Ahsoka Episode 4. This here video is more specifically about the ending and for what we saw at the end of Ahsoka Episode 4. Clearly there's spoilers ahead. If for whatever reason you made it this far into the video without realizing that, click off, go watch it. It's amazing. I would also love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, some of your theories as well. Okay, so the big question, did Ahsoka actually die at the end of Ahsoka Episode 4? Common theme that we've seen with each episode of Ahsoka is that it's left its viewers with a bit of a cliffhanger just before the credits roll at the end of each episode. Sabine was stabbed by Shin Hati at the end of Episode 1. Sabine and Ahsoka finally venture off together at the end of Episode 2, kind of into the unknown. We don't really exactly know what they're doing, but they are up to go find Morgan and the map at Seotis. And then the final seconds of Episode 3 tease that Baylan and Shin would cross blades with Ahsoka and Sabine. Episode 4 of Ahsoka is no exception, no different to that. However, if for anything, it's raised the bar in terms of making fans want to see the next episode right away. So, coming full circle, is Ahsoka actually dead? I think that the short answer to that is no. We still have half the show to go. With another 4 episodes of Season 1, she's bound to make a comeback. Just how is exactly what's up in the air. We don't know how she'll be able to pull that off. I'll have another video discussing it and talking about it in more detail and in more depth here on the channel, but right now Ahsoka is in what's called the World Between Worlds. So to answer your question as of if Ahsoka is actually dead, the short answer to that is no, but the long-term answer I think is yes. As in that Ahsoka is dead for right now. She's technically in what is called the World Between Worlds, as I had mentioned, which as we view it, is pretty much is a space heaven or a Star Wars heaven. This is presumably where Force ghosts go after they die. And so, near the end of Episode 4 of Ahsoka, the titular character was in a grueling lightsaber duel with Ray Stevenson's Baylan Skoll, and just as it seemed as though Ahsoka could overpower Baylan and come out on top as she usually does, he dealt a powerful blow to her lightsaber, causing her to fall off over the edge of a cliff, leaving her fate up in the air. However, as the credits were about to roll, Ahsoka appeared once again in what appeared to be a different realm. Ahsoka then started to come to her senses, sitting on an energy-like platform in what seemed to be the void of space, when she heard the words, "Hey, Snips," from her former master, Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker. The former Jedi can then get up to her feet and turned around to see Anakin's face, like actually there, face to face, with the character looking identical to the way he did in the 2005's Revenge of the Sith, with a little bit of a de-aging process that looks honestly pretty great. So there's a few things about this. It's important to note that this is the way that Anakin had looked once he had crossed over into the netherworld of the Force and became a Force ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi. Well, just about anyway. There's been a few theories here and there into the regards of what might happen next with Episode 5, as he appears to have his robotic arm and also maybe a different lightsaber as well, but most notably he has his robotic arm. When we see him at the end of Return of the Jedi in the new edition release with Hayden Christensen instead of the older actor in the original cut, he appears to have just both normal human hands. So if this is the case, then this could presumably maybe be some type of vision or a trick even at that, as some fan theories have pointed toward that Ahsoka will duel Anakin or Vader in Episode 5. However, for the time being, this is simply a fan theory. I want to discuss and talk about this in a whole separate video here on the channel in more detail and in more depth. All the more reason to grab that subscribe button if you haven't already. However, the point being of seeing being presumably a Force ghost of Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker at the end of the episode 4 of Ahsoka, this has caused many fans to believe that Ahsoka is actually dead for right now, as I had mentioned. In the short term, she's dead, but for the long term, probably not. She's going to come back. There's another 4 episodes, and is also on her way to becoming a Force ghost, but due to the area surrounding her, the stars, the energy walkways, and the blue portals, it appears as though that she is in the world between worlds and isn't actually really 110% completely dead, as I had mentioned. The world between worlds, though, however, is a bit confusing. It's 2 ways, and is viewed as 2 ways. As I had mentioned earlier on, it's as a space heaven, a Star Wars heaven, presumably of where you may go when you become a Force ghost. The other way that the world between worlds is viewed is as a time machine, almost in a way, of where you're able to walk through this realm and view every point within Star Wars through the prequel trilogy, the original trilogy, and even the sequels. The world between worlds is a realm outside of the confines of time and space in the Star Wars universe. Ezra Bridger actually saved Ahsoka's life in Season 4 of Star Wars Rebels, the animated show, by utilizing the world between worlds with her duel between Vader and herself, so it seems as though that he will be preventing her from death potentially once more. As a quick theory, what if maybe this is the way that they introduce Ezra Bridger in the Ahsoka show and back into canon here, is he just jumps through this portal between the world between worlds, pretty much, some kind of Spider-Man No Way Home type of style. I think would be pretty crazy. Anyway, in Star Wars Rebels, Ezra Bridger was standing on one of those energy-like platforms that Ahsoka and Anakin are standing on in Ahsoka at the end of the episode of episode 4, when he came across a portal that opened up to the planet Malachor, of where Ahsoka and Vader had been dueling in Rebels Season 4. It showed the exact moment in time of when Ahsoka and Darth Vader were dueling inside of the temple, which would eventually blow up with both of them inside. Before the temple could actually explode, though, however, which would have killed Ahsoka, Ezra reached through and pulled her into the world between worlds. And since Ahsoka was saved from death in Rebels by someone reaching through a portal and pulling her out, it would make sense if she was saved in a similar way at the end of episode 4 of Ahsoka. That being said, what if Anakin himself was in the world between worlds and was the one that had saved Ahsoka from falling off the cliff, presumably to her death, and that this is actually the way that she was saved? And if it isn't Anakin, when Ezra pulled Ahsoka through the portal in the world between worlds, they both tumbled back into one of those energy platforms that Ahsoka and Anakin are standing on at the end of episode 4. If someone did reach through a portal to save Ahsoka from death once again in Ahsoka episode 4, it had to be Anakin, since there is no one else there in the world between worlds except for him and her. It was already confirmed throughout Star Wars that Force ghosts can interact with the physical world. For example, Obi-Wan Kenobi sat on a log in Return of the Jedi. Yoda hit Luke Skywalker on the head in The Last Jedi, and Luke caught a raised lightsaber in The Rise of Skywalker. However, Anakin didn't look like a Force ghost necessarily. He didn't have a blue hue around him. He looked like his live self before he had died, as if his physical actual body jumped through a portal in Revenge of the Sith. It is possible that the world between worlds could act as sort of a hub for Force ghosts when they can travel to different points throughout the galaxy freely, as a space heaven, as I had mentioned. It would also explain why Anakin's body didn't look like a ghost, since he wasn't in the actual living realm. Ahsoka could have actually been saved by Anakin, as she was falling in the same way that Ezra had saved her in Rebels, as I had mentioned. If Anakin used a portal in the world between worlds to bring Ahsoka in, it definitely would have saved her, and it would bring a full circle moment into play with Anakin saving Ahsoka's life one last time, which would also have to be quite ironically touching, seeing as how the last time that the two saw each other, he was trying to kill her on Malachor in Star Wars Rebels Season 4. This here all being said, though, however, how will Ahsoka actually get back into the actual real world, or the real Star Wars galaxy? Well, as I had mentioned, for one, is that the world between worlds serves as a bit of a time machine in a way. If Anakin truly did save her by using the world between worlds, then fans will likely be treated to an explanation in episode 5, undoubtedly. It is important to note that Dave Filoni is directing the upcoming episode. Of course, I'll have a preview video here on the channel into the regards of episode 5, so stay tuned for that by hitting the subscribe button. So there is also will likely be some major information bombs when it comes to the lure of the world between worlds and how Anakin is actually even inside of it. Assuming Anakin saved her, it can be theorized that he will end up teaching her one last lesson, something that she'd be able to carry with her as she journeys off to do something that even Anakin never did, travel to a completely different galaxy. However, once their time together is up, Ahsoka will likely be shown another portal, this time leading back to the real world. In Rebels, Ezra and Ahsoka are able to return to the real world through the portal that he had used to enter the realm to begin with. When Ahsoka is ready to return to the real world in her own show, she will likely be able to just go through a portal back to the world or the galaxy just as Ezra did in Rebels Season 4. However, she could choose to enter at a different point throughout the time and space if she chooses to do that. That may give her an advantage in being able to actually go to the galaxy of where Thrawn is my current theory. This here all being said, let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking. I mean, this is insane. An insane episode of Ahsoka, an insane time to be alive. Guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, your own theories as well. Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one, guys. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.